how I grew up, how I was sort of raised is like you have the Navy, the military force, and then you have politics. Those are sort of calls to duty, and in all of them you are accorded according to your capability, your skills, your history, and your experiences, not so that you can have people close by that you can manipulate to try and save or create a business where you will capital from. And these so-called activists are not different. They are benefiting. They are benefiting from people's ignorance. And there was a time when they all did it in the name of someone who wasn't them. We are being instructed. We're just following instructions. That was what they let out go to the media. How they were so oppressed. How we should be worried. How they couldn't stand up like men and say what that person, and that person. This is how we got this to work. No, they couldn't. Because of their tribal pride. They're tribalist. First time that guy attacked me, he attacked me because I mispronounced Vambo with Avambo or something like that. And then he sent his minions out to attack me until I caught one by the throat and I nearly murdered him to show him who he was up against. They have tainted a lot of reputations and they don't care. As long as they are willing idiots that they can drag along with them to make some sort of statement, then sure. But do you know what has happened now? Now the government has an official mass land program. The government's mass land program, where the government is in charge of it. And now a certain group of people won't be benefiting from that. So since they won't be benefiting from that, they are doing their best to shout and shout and shout and shout and shout wherever they can to find whatever problem they can. And then put it all in the name of, we agreed on these principles. I haven't seen the documents. No one sent them to me. I don't want to see them. I don't care what you do. Do what you like. I am disappointed, disheartened by a lot of people. And I don't even know you people. So trust me, I don't care. What I do want to talk about is something really interesting. And that is how we view democracy as opposed to how South Africa views democracy. South Africa views how we view democracy as opposed to the communist and the democratic states of the United States of America. They are democratic, and then you have this Europe, which is semi there, and I've noticed that we actually have better forethought in politics, because it's always been there and like that before, but there was a lack of implementing it. The rule of law, has always been there, but it's been seen as common law. You know this, common law. These are basics. So Africa has a different view of borders due to colonialism. Africa has a different view of borders due to tribalism. Now, I'll even go way back. When Europe was overwhelmed by the Great Depression, they were overwhelmed. Just at the point when Europe was overwhelmed, they decided to send their poor, those who they couldn't give employment, to Africa. These guys came here, they met up with Africans, they tried to, I'm not talking about the guys that were battering and trying to get things. I'm talking about the ordinary folks who decided to stay there because what was there in Europe that they had left behind. So they became farmers and they farmed along the black people. And then Britain came with that harsh move to put to establish order. And after that traumatic event, the concentration camps where they kept Afrikaners, Boer Afrikaners, is what culminated to apartheid. That was that one thing that said we will protect ourselves by any means necessary. And when this happened to us, our allies, I'm talking about the other tribes now, did not come to our defense. Of course, they were busy fighting their own battles, but there was not a united front. So they thought, if there can't be a united front, then let's create a very strong front psychologically. And that can be read up in a lot of books about this stuff. But when it comes to our democracy, it's not just young. It hasn't expressed itself. It hasn't expressed itself as in what it wants from the citizen and what the citizen wants from the government. Such things like this whole parliament fiasco. Referendums are put out there. Let the people decide. And people think that this is a Zuma type situation where this is going to be the president's what or the parliamentary members what. That's not the case. This is where people congregate to make laws, and young lawyers will have an opportunity to actually be employed and work in parliament and help us refine our laws. They won't be talking, but they'll be doing the documenting. From accountants, everything. It makes it one big office where at the end of the day, the president can be briefed on each ministry. And with all that data that will be collected, it will lead to priorities being set in stages. For example, food security. Food security in the long run. We have a lot of land. So I just want to see this with an open mind. The world is changing, of course. But I know a lot of my friends abroad and all of that stuff just don't like this old school way of going about politics. They don't, and I don't. Militancy. Political militancy. What the heck is that? There's no such thing. You've been indoctrinated. What I want to say is, there are people who have the ability to lead, who are a threat to those who can't lead. That's just that. And come to our territories, it's worse. In other democratic or modern democratic states, what you have is beautiful. You have competition. You have these people pitted against each other, and you see who comes out on top. Here, one will assassinate the other just to make sure that he's on top, or slander, or just whatever they can do, irrespective of the fact that it doesn't have facts. So I look at this whole African situation. I see SADC sort of strong ties, and I just don't buy it. It's a pitch. It's a decoration. And seeing through that makes it kind of appalling, because it's all about self-sustainability. I could have gone on and on and on, and I could have continued with everything as it were, but yeah, I'm quite disappointed. I don't think Namibia, I actually think that this country has finally come to a point where it's transitioning into a democratic state after 26 years. That's what I think. And making promises to voters or people right on record means that person should be held accountable, and that doesn't happen. And that's beginning to change slowly. And that's what I mean by it's becoming a democratic country slowly. And by democratic country, I mean people are aware of what's going on, the politics. Our media gives us so much information. It's like you're there, right? And the propaganda of yesterday is not working today. And the people who were taught propaganda and all of those other ideals, they're getting older now, and they're thinking ahead of what will I leave when I'm gone. I want to retire as this person. I want to retire as the president. I want to retire as the president. And so it goes. But finally, it has been interrupted, and this interruption came from a very strange place. This interruption came to actually speaking to the people. from speaking to the people and hearing what they think when the government isn't looking. And it isn't nice things. Because let me tell you, we were sort of thriving 96, 97. Or maybe the region I was in, my home region, my hometown, was thriving. Maybe it's because I'm here that I see things differently, you know. That's why I can't wait to get back home. You know, this is still our house, but that's our house. That's my home, right? And the way things are done sloppily shows itself. And I tell you, there is nothing that I can say to this national embarrassment, because it is a national embarrassment. And at the end of the day, when you are president, you represent the country. So what you say with the backing up of the country. So when things go wrong, don't say my name. No. That is what the position entails. If it's not something you said, it's something else. That's the way it works. But when you're president, what you say is a declaration, and your employees, the ministries, listen, and their delegates listen, take notes. So I'm not going to fight for a few who are going to lose because they picked a bitter strategy. I'm not going to go down a road where I am constantly attacked for things I didn't do, accused because some lookalike went and did something, or someone claimed to be me, or the slander. No, I've put a complete halt to that. It's called fraud, my illiterate friends. Say what you say as you. Now, I got my plan set out, and that's what I'm looking forward to. That is the future that I'm looking forward to. As for the rest of you politicians and political wannabes, I say good luck. On the other hand, the G7 meeting went great. Oh, it was nice. There were disagreements, of course. But as usual, my president came out with the swagger that he should have. Yes, I said my president. Yes, I was referring to Barack Obama. I can decide. Can't I? Or do I fully need to move over there to say it? I won't, because who knows what's going to happen next. By the way, those governments have impressed me in how they deal with chaos. they really have. And apart from the justice reform, as in people that are in prison who shouldn't be in prison, they're doing quite well compared to others, right? Developing from their own natural resources. Something that can be done here. But I'll do my personal things, just like you guys do your personal things. Alright, so I'm out of your way. Get the fuck out of mine.